What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mag. So, of course, before we get into the content of this video, I do want to give a big shout out to Cian Richardson, young lad from the area, of course, and he got his professional debut, not for Newcastle United, unfortunately, but for Rotherham United against Newcastle United's young kids on Tuesday. Of course, Rotherham United coming away from that game 3-1 winners, unfortunately, but a young local lad from the area getting his chance in the professional game after being called up to the Rotherham United first team, of course, from the youth academy. Hopefully the lad comes out well, and we'll be seeing him hopefully rocking up at St James's Park sometime in the future. But fantastic achievement that by the lad. And of course, you know, somebody that I am friends with on Facebook, and of course I am friends with his uncle as well on Facebook, and I did ask his uncle if it was okay to give him a shout out on my channel, and he did say that would be absolutely fine to do. So big shout out to Cian Richardson, and hopefully that you make it to the big time pretty soon. Moving on, of course, to talk about the news in this video. Now, this is going to be a bit of a mismatch of different stuff in this video. I'm going to be talking about, of course, the commercial growth of Newcastle United and other things that have been coming up, of course, of late over the last week. Now, Newcastle, of course, have had our FAB meeting once again, the Fan Advisory Board meeting once again, and Brad Miller, of course, was there to talk with the fans about the future of St James's Park, and of course the club has successfully expanded as well the commercial partnership. We will get on to talk about, of course, what Brad Miller had to say on St James's Park, but of course we have expanded our commercial partnerships. We've launched new platforms, we've launched a website, brand new website, brand new app, the brand new club store as well at St James's Park, and opened innovative things as well, like St James's Sack, which is absolutely booming. It's been a roaring success, and everybody knew it was going to be, you know. It's just an absolutely fantastic venue. If you haven't been along to it yet, do go along. It's open 7 days a week. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm not being paid to say that neither. I'm saying that, you know, off the back of my own back, because it is an absolutely amazing venue. And moving on to talk about, you know, other things like the partnerships. We've had some fantastic partnerships as well under these owners already. You know, we've started off with Monster Energy. And now we are onto a really big brand in Red Bull. Now that's none offense whatsoever to Monster Energy, but Red Bull are a massive global brand. They've got their own football teams, and maybe that could be something, you know, that might have influenced our decision to go with Red Bull as a sponsor. Maybe, you know, we could travel down the route of maybe, you know, taking a part of their multi-club model. I have heard that, you know, the Saudis do have some shares in Red Bull, tiny amount of shares in Red Bull, so, you know, that maybe could be something that we could see, you know, where maybe he's doing something on the club model, the multi-club model side of things, like Amanda Staveley talked about when she was at the club. The feasibility study, let's get on talking about that now. Of course, Newcastle have done more talk on the feasibility study, and it is looking even more likely that we will have to move away from St James's Park by the looks of it. Just looking at what Brad Miller said, you know, it does seem as though that is the way it is heading, and it's not going to be great for a lot of fans. Obviously, you know, myself included, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of moving away from St James's Park. I would like to stay there, but if it means, you know, staying at 52,000 and staying at St James's Park, that's not going to work, because there is a lot of fans that want to get into the ground. That's a lot of extra money that could be going into the coffers to allow for us to go out there and field an even bigger and better squad season after season. So when you look at it in that aspect of things, you have to be thinking long term. And if long term means that we've got to move away from St James's Park, even if it's only a tiny bit up into Leazes Park, which is what has been talked about, then we must look at it. You know, we must look at that possibility of doing that, because we can't stay at just St James's Park if it's not going to be able to be increased in capacity, because that's going to hold us back. That is going to hold us back as a club, and it's going to stop us from being able to grow as much as we can grow if we were to move to a new stadium. Now, obviously, like I say, it's going to affect a lot of people. It's going to give a lot of people, you know, a bad feeling about it, because of the fact that it is moving away from something like St James's Park, which has been steeped in history for our club. It is our home, you know, our cathedral on the hill, and at the end of the day, moving away from that would be really, really bad. But there is the silver linings, like I say, in the fact that, you know, we can do a lot with a brand new stadium we wouldn't be able to do at the moment with St James's Park, especially if we cannot increase St James's Park's capacity. But also, on the stadium side of things, that isn't, of course, getting to a point where there's going to be any sort of decision-making process done until what is being anticipated is early 2025, from what has been said. But looking at the stadium side of things as well, we did get a little bit more of a boost in the fact of a new member to the board, and the Rubens member to the board, of course, which is Roger Thornton. He has massive links to the area. He's from the area, of course, being born in South Shields. And, you know, he has, like I say, family who have a massive connection to the club. Of course, one family member that worked on the East Stand back in 1973 when it was getting expanded back then. So, you know, maybe that could help with getting around that whole situation with the East Stand moving forward. But he has been appointed to the board as a board part of the board of directors, and he's got some brilliant things that he's done. You know, he's worked on many projects for the Reuben brothers in Newcastle, at Newcastle Racecourse, of course, which the Reuben brothers own. He's also very steeped in knowledge of the retail business, the entertainment business, hotels as well. You know, so that could be something that may point towards, you know, where you know, the owners want to take this if they were to build a brand new stadium. And then you add on the fact that, of course, looking away from Newcastle United and what, you know, PIF are doing themselves, investing in different companies, and you look at, you know, the fact that they've recently just paid for a 40% stake in Selfridges, which is a massive, everybody should know Selfridges, absolutely massive retail brand down in the south, of course. And you know, that could point again towards where the owners are wanting to take this, you know, massive entertainment, retail shopping hub in the centre of Newcastle with a stadium included into it, hotels, you know, just everything all in one area, one massive big entertainment, shopping, you know, you name it. The Saudis are going to build it smack bang in the middle of the centre by the looks of it, because that is exactly what it's sounding like right now. And I did hear, you know, whispers as well that there could be a casino involved in it as well, which would tie in with sponsorship with BetMGM, of course. And, you know, they're talking, of course, the rumours, what I've heard, they're talking about maybe, you know, making a casino with Newcastle. That would be absolutely fantastic, because to my knowledge, I don't think there's an MGM casino in the UK. You know, MGM is a massive casino out in Vegas. They've got so many casinos over in Vegas in the States, you know, so to see them come over here, make a casino in Newcastle would be absolutely amazing. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you could do with that as well. You would see massive big boxing bouts in Newcastle. You know, you'd see many different massive stars coming to Newcastle as well, you know, and that's the way it's heading. You know, we all know that's the way it's heading. You just need to look at, you know, what the Saudis are doing outside of football. They've took over the world of golf. They've took over the world of boxing. You can't mention, you know, a boxer these days or a boxing bout these days without, you know, Saudi being involved in it. So that is just absolutely huge. You know, it just shows, you know, their impact on the sport is absolutely massive, and it's going to be, you know, good for us because it's going to be able to help us to be able to improve things a lot in the region as well. And that's something that they're focusing on as well. You know, they're not just focusing on Newcastle United, they're focusing on Newcastle the city. They're also focusing on rival cities, you know, in rival towns, the likes of Middlesbrough and Sunderland. You know, they're focusing on that in the northeast as well. But, you know, it's just all possible because the Saudis took over, and I just can't wait to see, you know, what's next in store for it, because it's just going to be absolutely amazing. It really is going to be amazing. But let us know your thoughts anyway about everything I've said in this video. And like I say, massive shout out to Kane Richardson as well on getting his professional debut, even if it is away from Newcastle United. Good luck to you, mate, and hopefully, you know, you make it into the Premier League one day, and hopefully you will get a chance to play at St James's Park as well under the lights, or, you know, whichever stadium it is that we end up making if we do move away from St James's Park. But until next time, I'll see you later, and however, lads.